guys, welcome back to Banks Garage, another episode here on the Banks Lux. Before we get into it, if I could ask you guys to subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want. It helps get us out there because there's a lot of people wanting to know information about this swap and there's not too many people documenting it. So do us a favor, subscribe and like if you can, and we'll go from there. So coming live from in Banks Lux itself, we just got back from the drive, as you would have saw. Start that at the start of the video just to get a few people's attention. We're on the road. We'll go through this episode on what I've done over the past month to get it to that point, but we'll start with the drive we just did because I'm sure people want to know about that. So I did a few laps of my estate, and then there's a small section that's like 300 meters long of straight road. It is a 50 zone, so I wasn't getting like pumping it out there, but that video you saw was probably like half to 3/4 throttle for about like 450 meters or something like that. No overheating issues. We'll go through the cooling issues I had a few weeks ago, but just did that basically a lap around the block a few times because I thought, you know, it's Australia Day. I was like, let's get into it. Let's get the Lux out there, maybe a single wheeler in the driveway. But did that. We got up to about 96 degrees Celsius is the hottest I got to, and that's when the thermo fans kick in, so I brought it back down to 92. That was towards the end of the drive, like the 5th or 6th lap. The first few laps it was around in the 80s. But yeah, it was really good. As you might have seen, probably not, I didn't video this when I was first leaving, but the change between gears is pretty like jumpy when you're going really slow. The first gear, not second, but when you punch it or put your foot down like a little bit, the shift is actually really good, really smooth, and it will squeak the wheels a little bit if you're putting it down. So we'll get a bit more confident in that as we go. But I'm sure everyone wants to know about the exhaust, so let's do a walkthrough of that now. I took a video at my mate's shop, SMF at Capalaba. It's a custom extractors into cats, into a cross piece, then back out into 2 mufflers, and then it goes from 2.5 to 3.5 inch dumps out the back. So I'll do a walk underneath the car now, and then I'll show you a video of it out of the car behind it. And we're back. I hope you all like the exhaust there. It's pretty sweet. I'm pretty stoked with it. Steve did an awesome job. Definitely hit up SMF if you're in Brizzy, Gold Coast, Sunny Coast, and you want some work done. He does all custom stuff. He used to work in a shop that was just production line, and he got out of it because he just loves the custom stuff more. But here she is now. He also fixed my bumper up, did the underneath drop hanger. Sorry, he did a few little bits and pieces. He's doing the exhaust for me, so I was like, you know what, he's real good on the tools and stuff like that, so he can do a few things there. Let's jump on to cooling. So I had a problem with the cooling, as every conversion has with this, seems to be. I've got a 2-core, like 38 mil standard 22R Hilux radiator in there, and it's cooling now. It's working fine. But what I had at the beginning was I put the standard thermostat in there, which opens at 86 degrees. And I'm not sure if it was just too late for it. I know it obviously works in the Commodores, but in my car, like, I took it out and put it in boiling water on the stove, and it was only opening like so small. Spoke to Matt, who I bought the car off originally, and he said, was his old one in there? He had the thermostat with holes drilled all around it to let more through. So what I ended up doing was I had a real big problem trying to get all the air out of the engine because it's like a V8. It has sort of like 15 like coolant passages, I think they call them, where like a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder has like 5 or 6 like straight back rather than on the angles like this. Ended up bleeding it through the steam lines, but it took ages. It took me fucking like 2 days to do it. Quick little video now. I'll just quickly smack in here. Ended up taping a bottle to the radiator out, and you'll be able to see all the bubbles coming out. I'll show you that now. If you didn't know that, there's actually a proper tool you can buy for it, but I just had a bottle for it. So anyway, after that, I ended up running no thermostat. So I also checked Matt's one, who I bought it off, and his opens at 74 degrees. I think it was 74 or 76. So it opens a lot earlier, allowing it to obviously cool earlier. Whether you're going to do damage earlier on, I'm not too sure. But so it's got no thermostat in there at the moment. It does, it's cut out because it needs the aeroflow thermostat housing needs the rubber from the thermostat in there so it doesn't piss out water, as I found out. So that basically fixed the problem. I let it sit here. The hottest they get apparently is sitting in one spot. So I had it out here in Brisbane on like a 32, 33 degree day on Sunday, middle of the day, and just kept the reading. The intake temps were getting up to like 50, but it was just cycling normal 96 degrees. Fans come on, back to 92, stays there for a bit, back up, back down. So that's perfect. So you can have a 22R radiator work. You don't need a massive radiator. So far, I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm sure when you're getting up it might get a bit hot. Bigger radiator doesn't necessarily mean cooler. They only cool so much, then you just create more surface area. Once they get too thick, the air doesn't pass through properly. All right, let's go on to the next thing. The next thing itself really wasn't too bad. It was just me being lazy or dodgy or whatever you want to call it. My power steering was leaking because you got to do sort of an adapter from the LS to the Hilux box. It was leaking. I didn't really think about it. I over tightened it and crushed the washer. And I was just like pissed. So I took it off and did it again, still leaking. I just totally forgot to even put thread tape on it. Now there's thread tape on it and it's all sweet. So I'll take a photo of that now and quickly show you that, because that'd be good to know what you need to do for that. All right, the last problem I had before we move on to what we're doing next was the belt. The belt's squealing and squeaking and carrying on like crazy. I didn't know too much about them. There's my son walking around. He's the apprentice today. I don't know too much about belts being contaminated because it's been sitting around for ages. Spraying WD-40, brake cleaner, like whatever in the engine bay. Seems like it's been contaminated and that was causing the squeal. Matt, who I bought the engine off, so I send you a new belt with it. Just chuck that on. Sure enough, I brake cleaned all the pulleys because they had crap all over them. Put the new belt on next day. Boom. And my son's got a washer he's gonna swallow. And it's all good, so that's the end of the problem. All right, on to the next episode will be, I'm gonna sound deaden the floor and put my new carpet down. I got a new roller carpet up here that I've had for a little while that I got because they were running out of stock, and seems to be ages to get anything at the moment, from whether it's from overseas or here in Brizzy. So sound deaden floor, car builders, new carpet. That'll make the inside nice. My wife's gonna clean the seats for me so they're all nice. And then we're moving on to this. So this is a new dash. So if you can see, this has, so it has your battery, your fuel, speed, tacho, then it has an oil pressure gauge itself. And obviously your cooling. But oil pressure gauge on itself. So in that one, I don't have a rev meter for one. The voltage isn't like a massive deal for me, but the oil pressure is, considering like it's conversion. I did the conversion myself. I changed the sump pickup myself. I have a light, and the light is good enough. Like if you see your light come on, oil pressure, you stop, your engine could crap itself in 2 seconds. It could be 2 minutes. So with the pressure gauge itself, whether you get an aftermarket one, it's fine. It shows you the reading. I wanted this one because it's like a standard OEM one, and I want to keep inside standard OEM. You can see what your oil pressure is doing, and some people say it's near the light, but I wanted the visual of seeing what the pressure was doing inside the block. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take a few wires from the ECU for that, because I'm gonna introduce the engine check light. If there's a problem, the speedo, not the speedo, sorry, that's different. Engine check light, the revs, trans temperature, I'm gonna hook that up as well, because this dash has an auto thing, it's AT, transmission overload or whatever it is, so we'll hook that light up too. So basically a full functioning dash that has yeah, everything on there. Oil pressure light, oil pressure sensor, fucking the lot. So I'm pretty stoked about that. One of the boys over in WA sorted me out with that one. So I'm pretty stoked to have that. So that's what we're gonna be doing next. I'm working a lot of hours at the moment, so I'm just gonna try and keep this up. I'd love to do one every week. Maybe in the future, if we get more subscribers, we'll do some more, but it's sort of looking like a month at a time at the moment. So get out there, enjoy yourself, build your dream car. Fraser and I will be here building our dream car, and we'll see you next time. Please subscribe and like, comment, whatever you want. See you next time, guys.